Okay, everyone, it's time for our next session, Clicks to Capital, Redefining Fintech Marketing for the New Age. The synergy between social media and financial markets is driving a shift in how fintech firms and trading platforms engage with audiences. This panel will explore how financial education, community-driven strategies, and creative storytelling on platforms like TikTok are creating opportunities for brokers, fintech companies, and traders alike. With a focus on user behavior, campaign design, and market adaptation, we'll uncover how digital connections translate into financial growth. Our panelists are Vitaly Makarenko, Commercial Director of Quadcode Brokerage Solutions, Fedor Balashko, Head of Sales at TikTok, and Chailis, CMO at Libertex Group. Please join me in welcoming them. And I'm so pleased to be your moderator for this session. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for being here. I'm excited about our chat today. We're going to link all of your diverse backgrounds into one. So maybe you'll help me segue in between these questions. And I'll start with Vitaly. In your experience, which strategies can brands use on social media for financial growth?
Thank you for the question. I believe at Quadcode we think that not only performance marketing. Okay, got it. That's better. Okay. At Quadcode, we believe the most efficient way to drive, to brand awareness is not only performance-driven marketing, but also brand awareness. Why? Because performance marketing usually, focus on just short-term result. That's a very, very, very important. If you would like to generate, revenue instantly, I believe that the best way. But at the moment, right after that, you have to retain your customer. And only brand awareness can help you to do that. You need to find unique strategy, that resonates with your audience needs. That's the key.
And Fedor AI is being used to create incredible creatives, and we're seeing them everywhere. Human intervention is no longer needed for some of these. The latest Adidas ad is an example. I'm sure everyone has seen it. Which solutions does TikTok ads offer to make creative production easy? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that human content is not needed, because all of us need a touch of human, especially in modern last 2 years of AI-driven content and solutions. Anyway, at TikTok, we understand that UGC content sometimes can be costly to provide. Sometimes it takes time to approve different scripts, approve different scenarios, and so on and so forth. So we implemented and launched it on the edge of H1 and H2. Last year, we implemented Symphony AI. Actually, it is a wide variety of tools that are available free of charge for every advertiser within the TikTok ads account that allows you within 1 or 2 minutes to, for example, reduplicate. If you have video in English or in any other language, you can easily reduplicate it for 30 different languages or even more within several minutes. Or, for example, if you do not even have a video, you can just upload your script, choose a so-called digital avatar who looks like a real person, and they will do a lip sync with any language that you want. You can create your own avatar with you, for example, and you can advertise any Forex broker. You can advertise and choose Libertex, for example, to advertise them.
You should choose Libertex.
And this is through H1, H2, and Symphony AI, you said. Tell us a little bit about those programs.
Yeah, so Symphony AI, as I said, it is a huge variety of tools. So digital avatar is one of them. Otherwise, we have, I believe that all of us use ChatGPT or any other LLM models that are booming within last years. So we have built-in LLM model that, for example, if you have a lack of ideas at this exact moment and you do not know what you want to show in your creative assets, you can just upload some ideas and it will regenerate scripts for you. Or even within this tool, you can upload a link for your website or for your application. You can upload some references, images or video, and within several minutes it will reduplicate for you and will create for you brand new assets within video, static images, with voiceover, and you can, as I've previously said, translate it in a huge variety of languages.
Fantastic. And would you say it's of the same quality as creatives that humans would create? Is it better quality? How does it compare?
So I believe that, I'm not afraid of AI. I'm very enthusiastic about it. And I believe that we should use it to fulfill our powers, to fulfill powers of our production, because it democratizes creation of the content, and even the advertiser with not such a big advertising budgets, if they, for example, cannot afford 100 different influencers within different geographies, they can easily create these virtual influencers and within like zero USD cost launch these creatives for the advertising.
Marios, how do you think businesses should determine where to use AI in their marketing?
I wanted to comment
Sure.
on something that Fedor said. A big issue with using AI is in a regulated environment, it poses a lot of issues. It's not just about the creation of the different creatives. AI can generate a lot of ideas. The problem is you need to make sure that it's compliant, that it works for your product, depending on the jurisdiction where you operate. You had a question about the quality of the creatives. Online, and a lot of these videos, a lot of these ads are fast consumer goods. We go through tons of them, thousands of them. One of the benefits of AI, it can get rid of a lot of the donkey work. I have a creative department of 30 designers. Most of them spend most of their days just resizing banners, translating. That's donkey work. I don't want their creative minds being wasted and being dumbed down by doing that work. That can be done by AI. A lot of the conceptual, the creative part, that can still be done by humans. But everything else can be done by AI and can be done much faster, much more cost effectively. But you still need the human element. You need something too creative. You need the right prompts. Otherwise, you're not going to get a good result. You can feed a lot of data into it. You can give it examples of previous campaigns or creatives that did well, and it will give you information and input on what your creatives need to look like. And of course, avatars, other aspects like that are very useful, but they can't replace, for a big company that wants to do proper campaigns, good quality campaigns, it won't be able to replace everything immediately. But it's definitely helping a lot, and it speeds things up a lot. And in our case, I gave my creative studio a target that by the second quarter of 2025, at least 60% of their output needs to be based on AI, just to free up the resources so they can deal with the more creative things, landing pages, videos, brand campaigns that we do that require a lot more thought and planning rather than just resizing banners and ads and little videos, just because it's a waste of their time. We can put their creativeness to much better use in other areas.
So 60% of the content they generate by Q2 needs to be done by AI, and this is what you call the donkey work. And when you spoke about the creatives being produced very quickly and consumed almost without much consideration, you made me think of fast fashion, where we just buy something, wear it a couple of times, and toss it. It's not those ad campaigns that have that longevity that stay with you.
Attention spans on the internet are very, very small, especially on platforms like TikTok. People are used to going through videos like in seconds. you need to capture their attention. And an ad, you can't just keep repeating the same ad. If, it happens sometimes, a video or an ad will get a lot of attention. It might go viral, that's great. But the reality is that the vast majority of ads, they get wasted, and they get burned out. So you need to rotate them, you need to localize them, you need to make changes based on the statistics and the data that you get. So you need to keep making adjustments. If you can't do it fast enough, then you're very inefficient. So that's why a lot of the design teams are spending a lot of their time doing all this donkey work, because they get feedback about the click-through ratios, about which ads perform better. So they need to go back and tweak every single other ad that's out there, and that takes a lot of time. So that's what we want to avoid, and AI is definitely a great tool for that.
Fantastic. Now, Vitaly, there are several platforms to market on, as you know. How do you determine which platform best aligns with your business objectives?
Of course, TikTok. Just kidding. So we constantly...
No kidding. 100% true.
So we constantly testing a lot of social media platforms. So, and I believe the key is to identify the best platform for your audience. I mean, each social media platform has its own audience, and that means we need to determine in which social media platform our audience is most active. So that's why we constantly, running ads, we constantly testing creatives and stuff like that. So just to understand where we can get the most, amount of qualified leads in the most efficient cost. That's it.
Marius, would you like to add to that?
There's a lot more complexities depending on your industry. If you're a B2B solution provider, obviously the kind of leads you want to track are quite different. If you're a regulated financial broker, then you have to consider compliance, limitations. Each jurisdiction has different requirements. There's some platforms that are very difficult to use for a licensed broker in Europe, for example. Using financial influencers is a no-no. You can't do that in Europe. Other parts of the world, that's possible. But at the same time, you need to be mindful that releasing an ad and using those kind of campaigns somewhere offshore might get exposure in jurisdictions where you don't want those ads to run. So it's much more complicated. So you need to be much more careful when you launch campaigns, selecting the platform, the targeting of the audience, making sure you restrict some geos so that the ads don't run in places where they're not supposed to. The messaging has to be different. And again, that adds to the complexity of what I mentioned before, that maybe having the same campaign, but running it globally in many different geos is much more complicated than just resizing a few banners and releasing it on a few different social media platforms or other publishers.
Fedor, tell us about TikTok's black box algorithm. How does its design shape user behavior, and what are some solutions you're offering?
Yeah, so by this black box, I mean not like our algorithm, but our advertising algorithm. So one of the difficulties that previously could be faced within user acquisition managers or media buyers when they use TikTok, that we didn't have automated campaigns. And by the end of last year, we have launched our Smart Plus solution that is now widely used even by a lot of Forex brokers and CFDs that work with us. So it just allows you to launch advertising campaign in one click. As Mario said, for example, within such regulated industries like finances, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, you can't, for example, target worldwide. But for advertisers within apps industries or gaming industries, for example, in addition with our creative automation solutions, just literally 1 or 2 clicks when it automatically translates creative assets in the needed languages, when it automatically bids for you, you just put, for example, price of, first-time deposit, that you would like to receive through our platform, and it will bid for you and will try to acquire as much users as it can. So yes, all of our competitors had it yet, but we are moving very fast, and we receive really very positive feedback from all of our customers regarding these solutions, and hopefully it will develop even more within this year.
And Marios, this brings us back to the delicate subject of marketing versus regulation. How can you market effectively while ensuring that you are complying with regulations? Give us a bit more insight into that.
I'm smiling because our global head of compliance is sitting right there.
Would you like to have a seat?
No, just keep it over there.
Just joking.
It's a lot of work. Your marketing department has to work very, very closely with your in-house compliance. You need to get legal opinions in places where there's uncertainty. Luckily, in places like Europe, it's very clear. The regulation is straightforward, and in places where there is local regulation, you can pretty much know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. What happens is in places where the regulation is not so clear, you have continents that a lot of companies treat them as one big place. For example, Latin America. But it's not. It's many, many different countries, each one with particularities and different regulation. And you can't just apply a blanket approach and just do the same thing everywhere. So you need to do your homework. You need to understand what's going on locally. You need to be respectful of the regulation. You need to onboard clients wherever possible under the most appropriate regulated entity. In places where it's not available, you get your legal opinions, you try to understand what's going on, and do whatever your lawyers advise you to do. Unfortunately, in our industry, not everybody does that, and we had cases where there's some cowboys out there, and their actions give sort of a bad rap to the rest of the brokers. That's something that needs to be avoided, and hopefully, as time goes by, regulation globally is going to consolidate a bit more and make it easier for people who want to do good work and operate within the regulatory framework to do it in the proper way, and everybody else just, hopefully go away.
I'm sure you wish it was that simple. Vitaly, tell us about the best way to engage a B2B audience on social media.
Yeah, I believe the key is engaging a B2B audience, building a strong brand. So that's quite simple because ordinary B2B clients not just buying a product, especially is that very complex and very pricey product. Usually they invest in trust, they invest in your expertise. That's quite simple. That means you have to generate a contact that can bring like a trustworthy in front of your potential or current customers. So that means we have to generate user engaged content, storytelling, user cases. We have to bring more expertise in online, in social media platform, just to get attraction, to take our clients' wishes and so on, so on, so on. That means in that way we can retain the current customer, and we can also to convert our current customer into our brand's advocate.
So, Fedor, what's the best way to really merge branding and user acquisition, and how can its success or its failure be measured accurately?
Let's just imagine that we will take, without logos, 10 different screens of trading of the customers who are represented here in IFX Expo. I assume that even employees, if they do not see the logo, they can't recognize where is their product, and where is their competitor product. So within such a competitive industry as B2C Forex, me and a lot of people from marketing of our clients, we believe that you need to build a strong brand on the one hand. On the other hand, you do not need to forget about always fulfilling lower funnel, about converting these people to whom you represented your brand. So almost whole last year, we spent our building different marketing strategies that are called so-called brand formats. This is a campaign which fulfills both stages, upper and lower funnel marketing stages, and it can help you to, first of all, position your brand, sell your unique selling points to the audience, and at the same time, you can enter with some kind of aggressive offer that will help you to convert this audience into your clients who, at the end of the day, will start trading with your app and will bring you with a good LTV for your product. So I believe that it shouldn't be, answering your question, it shouldn't be measured like on the contrary. But at the same time, it should be, you should understand that, for example, you can't measure brand activation with performance marketing KPIs and wait that brand activation will bring you the same cheap, for example, first-time deposits as performance marketing activation can bring to you. And on the opposite, if you use only performance marketing, for example, when you go dark, some of your audience just can forget about your brand and switch to your competitor.
Well, let's get into sports sponsorships, Marios. I know that this is something you have some expertise in. How can these really shape brand perception, these sports sponsorships that we're seeing increasingly lately?
All right. A sports sponsorship is essentially something, what Fedor just said, it's a brand activity. You need to build up your brand recognition, selecting a team, a club, whatever, in a jurisdiction where you have a big client base helps. Right now we're sponsoring Bayern Munich because we have a lot of clients in Germany, in Europe, in the German-speaking countries. So it made sense that we have a partnership that's very recognizable there. At the same time, in other jurisdictions, we use different things. I'm happy to announce that we have a Formula One sponsorship. It's going to be announced in February. But for the next few years, we're going to be doing Formula One, just because it's global and it helps us activate locally in many places rather than just focus.
So we got a headline out of this panel. So you're sponsoring an F1 team?
Yes, but the official announcement is in February, so I can't say which one yet.
Fine.
Again, the sports sponsorship thing is mainly brand awareness. We're not expecting to get customers that show up at a football stadium or watch a game on TV, but seeing our brand on the LED, on a football shirt, it just helps reinforce the brand recognition. And then that in combination with our online branding activities on platforms like TikTok, on pretty much any other publisher on Meta, and so on, repetitively and after a period of time, because you need to keep reinvesting and retargeting this audience, making sure they're engaged with your brand. At some point, when they're looking for your product or services, they're going to click through and convert. It's a multi-touch strategy and something that you need to be committed. You can't expect that you're going to do a football sponsorship and then the next day you're going to get like a huge influx of customers. That's not the reality. You can't expect to put your logo on a race car and then the next day you're going to get an influx of customers. That's not happening. The concept is that you need to be consistent, both offline and online, and essentially brand everything. As an example of that, just when I say brand everything, I do mean everything. You'll probably notice that I'm probably the only one here that my lanyard is branded Libertex, and I'm not using the standard lanyard like everybody else that you got. It's a small thing, and most people won't notice. But we brand everything. We make sure we're consistent in our messaging, and it helps. It adds up, and then it improves the effectiveness of our acquisition campaigns and our performance campaigns.
And you're actually attracting entire communities of supporters when you're targeting the German audience through sponsorship of Bayern. And Vitaly, I know that you have some expertise in this. I would like to know why you think every brand should focus on building a community. And in your opinion, what's the best way to do so, just building on what Marios was saying?
I believe community the most important way for each brand who would like to grow, especially if we're talking about B2B, because when it comes to B2B, it's not only like a B2B relationship between business and business. It's first of all this relationship with your end customer, with people. So through direct interaction with your audience, you can get a lot of insight regarding your product. You can fill your backlog. You can get necessary like feedback loops from your audience, and that's very, very important. To build and to construct just strong communication with your audience. First of all, and the second one, I believe that you not only can get necessary insight for your backlog or for your product, just to bring additional value. So it's also about finding brand advocates just can build necessary organic atmosphere, like a trustworthy atmosphere around your brand, because you never know how many touches your potential customer had done before he bought the product. So the community is the key.
And Fedor, let's talk about user-generated content. Considering it offers significant benefits to businesses by providing valuable feedback and insights into their target audience, how important is user-generated content?
So actually, it reflects with what Marios and Vitaly previously said. So we have conducted some first-party studies at TikTok, and it's also well-known facts by psychology that, for example, the user will rather leave negative feedback than positive, yes? But we also see that in TikTok, as we democratize creation of content, people are really tend to share their feedback or opinion on, for example, any service or anything that they bought or that they used. And anyone could become not like micro-influencer, but I believe that even nano-influencer within their small social bubble. And for example, when very famous influencer, they have every 2 or 3 posts, which is paid advertising, you tend to get some kind of advertising blindness from this person. You do not believe them. But when it is like a person whom you know personally, who is your friend or your peer, or you can associate yourself with this person, and they share their honest feedback about any product, either it is positive or I would say neither positive nor negative, ordinary, you would you would believe this person with a much way more higher rate than to any paid influencer. That's why it's important for all the brands to use this power of free of charge advertising that can be made by regular users, not only of TikTok, but any other social media platform. And to build army of your brand ambassadors, rather than, for example, to buy one multi-billion football star, you can have 1 million of your loyal customers who will get in touch with several other millions of people.
I think that's really inspiring for aspiring influencers to know that they can have a really big influence. They don't need to be a full-blown influencer. They can be a micro or a nano influencer, as you put it, which is fantastic. Marius, tell us about affiliates and partnerships marketing. How do you see them developing this year and into the future?
I mean, these kind of partnerships have been, long running in our industry. I don't see affiliation and IB programs changing all that much, only based on local regulation changing. For example, in Europe, IB programs are no longer able to operate effectively. There is specific regulation that's against that. So companies operating in Europe, they rely more on affiliates for partnerships on a CPA basis, paying for a qualified customer versus sharing revenue or any other rebate. And the rest of the world is still a very popular model. IB programs in Asia and Latin America, even here in the Middle East. And that's not going away anytime soon. There's a lot of people that operate as partners and want to introduce clients to brokers. It's something that we've been reinforcing, or all our partnership programs have been a big focus for the last few years, just because we see that there's more and more demand. But even these programs come to support our direct acquisition and branding efforts that we do on our own. And we don't want to depend on just one type of acquisition channel like partnerships. It's a fantastic channel. It generates a lot of business. You pay on performance. But you also need to invest in brand equity to make it easier for partners to choose you over someone else. Because at the end of the day, if you walk out in these halls, most brokers are probably going to offer you a similar deal if you have customers to introduce to them. But they will go to a broker that's more respected or more well-established in different parts of the world, because it makes their job of selling that brand and that platform to their clients, and therefore allowing them to earn more money. So again, it goes back to branding and brand recognition, and that's the other thing we want to keep doing and keep reinforcing. It helps everybody that works with us, not just our own in-house marketing department.
That's very sound advice, and unfortunately we have run out of time, but I want to thank you all for sharing your fantastic insights on modern marketing with us today, and we hope to catch up with you after the panel. If we have any questions from the audience, please feel free to approach our distinguished panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.